Welcome back to my sustainability journey, and today we are talking garlic and specifically how to plant it. Okay, so just a quick disclaimer, this video is not a full how to grow garlic guide. It's focusing specifically on the planting aspect of garlic. I'm going to be doing a 4-part series, which is planting, winter care, spring growth and care, and then harvesting and curing your garlic in summer. So there are 4 main things we want to cover when planting garlic. Firstly, timing. Secondly, soil conditions. Thirdly, growing conditions. And fourthly, your fertilizing. Firstly, timing. Timing is everything when it comes to garlic. In South Africa, general advice is plant from middle Feb through to April. But take that and apply it to your local microclimate. Where we are, February is still pushing 30, 35 degree temps. It's way too hot. So we can't do that. But we also know that come middle March, light and temperature drops dramatically. So we have to get it in the first 2 weeks of March. So when you look at advice given online and by other people, always make sure you take that advice and you apply it to your local microclimate. Okay, so when is the right time to plant your garlic in South Africa? And the general answer is autumn. You want your garlic to come up, set some roots. It will die back in winter and then come up in spring and summer harvest. So autumn, but take into account your microclimate. Then there's another option that we're going to be looking at and experimenting with in spring, and that is planting in spring after your garlic has spent 2 months in the crisper drawer in the fridge. This is especially needed in warmer climates where you don't have a hard frost or any real cold, deep cold climates which garlic needs to die back and get those amazing flavors that it's known for. So you can grow in warm climates, you just need to make sure that you have that cold period, and that's what we're going to be testing in spring. But we'll be testing it, documenting it, comparing the growth between those and the autumn planted ones, and then we'll have a consensus on what to do there. Okay, the second most important part to growing garlic is your soil conditions. So what garlic wants is a soil that is rich in organic matter, is very free draining, and has a soil pH of between 6 and 7. 6.4, 6.5 is pretty much spot on. But what we do is we have, you can see it's very light and fluffy. It's a mixture of fine mulch, mushroom compost, bone meal, and mulled seaweed. What that does is give it all the nutrients it needs now and long term, and makes it really light, quick draining, but holds a lot of moisture. And then finally, you don't want weeds. You want to pull out weeds as quickly as possible. Garlic does not like competition for roots and resources. So make sure your garlic bed does not have any weeds that it needs to compete with. So the third thing you need to be looking at is growing conditions, and the main aspect there is lighting. And why lighting is the most important is it needs enough light and heat in autumn to shoot out, and then come springtime you want to have enough sun to get them going again, as well as in summer at least 12 hours of direct sunlight. So when you plant your garlic, make sure you know the arc of the sun and its movement, so that you don't have late season, early season shade from trees or anything else. Make sure that your whole season has full sun exposure, especially if you're in a slightly warmer climate and your garlic is not going to go dormant. Make sure your summer has as much sun as possible. Then you need to make sure that your garlic is protected from any harsh natural environments. Hail, severe rain that will cause flooding, and specifically winds. Strong winds, direct winds, you don't want them to crack those necks, fall over or get damaged. Yeah, and then what you want to be looking at point number 4 is your fertilizing. So we don't generally like to fertilize too much we believe in living soils. Our soils have a lot of organic matter. So what that does is all the microorganisms, the bacteria, the worms, all of that are constantly busy eating all the organic material, and their byproduct is fertilizer. So if you're applying the no-dig principles correctly and cutting plants off at the base at the end of the season rather than pulling them out, you're leaving the roots in the ground, leaving those healthy environments intact. All the bacteria, microorganisms, everything that helped that plant grow previously is going to help the next plant grow. As soon as the new plant's roots go in, all the organisms are already there, they're already working, and you don't need to do too much to get the plant pretty set pretty quickly. That being said, when we make our beds, we do amend it quite a bit, and we amend it by putting in lots of mushroom compost, which is very high in nitrogen. We put in quite a lot of bone meal, which is very high in calcium and phosphorus, and then we put in quite a bit of mulled seaweed. And mulled seaweed is great for water retention, but the release of micronutrients. That means your plant is getting the full spectrum of what it needs by adding in those natural micronutrients that it needs into the soil. However, if that's not the approach that you're taking, which is perfectly fine, each to their own, then you need to be planting your garlic and then fertilizing it with preferably an organic high nitrogen fertilizer. Why high nitrogen? As soon as the roots set and the plant starts growing, you want to maximize the growth as much as possible initially so that you can get that root growth. So that when it dies back in winter, it's got all the roots are already set and it's already accumulated nutrients to just shoot up in spring and have healthy growth, ultimately leading to bigger bulbs. We will be doing follow-up videos in winter, spring, and summer. So what we'll do is we'll take you through the fertilizing in those videos, just so that you don't get confused. What we want to do is give you specific information on a specific task. So right now it's about planting. So when you plant your garlic, plant it in a high nitrogen environment. If you don't want to fertilize, you could also follow the planting of garlic on from a planting of beans. Then you need to make sure that you cut the beans at the stems and you leave the roots in place, because that's how they fix nitrogen. Just growing beans doesn't fix nitrogen in your soil. You need to cut the base, leave the roots, and the roots then release the nutrients back into the soil. So that is also an option. Something I do want to mention that is not often spoken about is expectation. There's a lot of advice, a lot of tips, tricks, how-tos, all of that. And they give you great advice on what to do, but they don't often set the expectation of what's going to happen. So in essence, quickly, you're going to plant your garlic and it's going to start growing. In winter, you can expect it to die off. Your garlic is not dead. It happens naturally and it needs to do that. Thirdly, in spring, you're going to get rapid growth. And then in summer, you're going to harvest. So it's a 4-season crop, and each season it reacts differently. So as long as you have that expectation, you'll be fine. Okay, so now we're going to get into the actual planting of garlic. Firstly, you need a bulb. Then, as I'm sure many of you have done, all you do is you simply break the bulbs into pieces. And then you're going to be stuck with the individual cloves. The pointy tip is the growing tip. So make sure this is planted upright. The bottom is rough, round, and that's where the roots are going to be coming out. You need to be planting about 10 centimeters deep, which for me is about the depth of my finger, and then 15 centimeters between each planting. So if we do one here, I'll show you. There's the one planting, roughly 15 centimeters. Next one, roughly 15. Okay, there we got our 4 holes, and then all you do, drop it rough side in the bottom, and that's it. Cover it up. You don't need to compress it. and it's as simple as that. And then finally what you need to be doing is taking a thick layer of mulch, 5 to 10 centimeters if possible, laying it over, and that's it. You're done. So why you want to do this is it is going to control the soil temperature. You're not going to have rapid increases and decreases in temperature. Specifically, it's going to keep the temperature down in summer, so you don't have soil temperatures going above 25 degrees. What we like to do is we like to use straw. It's really nice because when it's done, we take it off, throw it in the compost, which then goes back into the soil. But when you do use a mulch, make sure it's not seeded. So don't use hay, which naturally has a lot of seed in it. Don't use things like lucerne or grass that has gone to seed. So make sure it's clean, seed-free, and that's it. Planting garlic in 4 easy steps. Just remember, lighting, soil conditions, growing conditions, fertilizer. That's it. Don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate it. Garlic is really easy to grow. It looks after itself. It doesn't want to be fussed about. So follow those 4 principles and you will be fine. We'll do some more videos on the different stages so that we can guide you along the way. But until then, I hope you found value out of this. I hope you learned something new. And please do subscribe to our channel so that you can get these updates as and when we publish them, as well as some other really cool sustainable living tips and tricks. If you've got any questions, please drop them in the comments below so we can either answer them ourselves or reach out to someone who might know. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, keep well everyone.